from figured out the destruction that was happening. So it's supposed to produce a file called default.save. Oh, so I figured out a couple things. One is that I was originally tying to quit application.quitting. So in this one, we tie into quit, but apparently that doesn't get fired when the editor stops playing. So that one's kind of important to make sure. From what I found in some other searches, I was getting it was indicating that quitting does not get called when I play. So I ended up pulling on editor application play mode state change. And in this one, we get the state. So in this one, we are exiting the play mode. If that's the case, then I call quit. So quit is supposed to save the game. Now, at this point, I do want to call out a couple of things that I'm going to test in here. I want to put in a couple debug logs. So debug.log, and inside of here, also put one here. The problem that I'm running into here is actually something that's going to happen later in the game as well. I destroy an object. Each one of the objects in each one of the freight in the freight system has an index. But then I remove that object. I get this random amount of objects that are complaining that the value is non-negative. It's less than the size of the collection, or whatever the case was. But try this out. But that does indicate an error that I am. 20, 29 seconds later, 30 seconds later. I don't even think I made a code change. Oh, no. I did. I put in the debug logs. All right, so on play mode state change, run on start, those two are expected. Okay. So now let's just stop the code. Well, let's do it just over here. Stop. Okay, back up here. Quit got fired. Okay, so quit got fired, create save game, save was fired, quit was called again. So apparently quit quit got called on both modes. I'm just running into. Yeah, I think it's being called both from both setups, which is why it got executed twice. Let's go back into here. It does seem that it ran and without error. Let's go over to save for a second. I want to get that full path of where it's saving. For all I know, it's being saved somewhere into like my user profile, local, some data store. All right. So inside of this one, we need the path. So let's go here, Control C, and we're going to put it here. We get the path. Now, we're going to put it right here. Now, in this one, dot path equals plus path. Also, let's put in the JSON while we're here as well. So same thing, Control CVB. And then this one's going to be JSON equals JSON. Saved and return to Unity, which is probably going to do a bunch of reloads. Clear this, and let's start it again. I want to see that the file is saved. I want to see where it's saved. And oh, I should have killed one of the options. If it runs twice so far, that's better than it not running at all. All right, let's just move over a little bit to we're gonna drop down to here. We're gonna get out of the mayhem. This'll do. Cool. All right, stop. It is in local app data. All right, good to know. And this is the JSON that it saved. So inside of here, we just have the car position, credits, 0 credits. The name is blank. Did I really set the name blank? I thought I put default on that one. So when we're creating the game.name is default. But up here, the name is empty. Oh, wait a minute, dot name. Because it has 2 different name values. Considering the fact that I'm trying to make the names file safe, so I can use them for the naming on that, I'm going to go with a lowercase name here. And I'm going to get... going with the lowercase name does not allow me to produce a string, but technically I don't need that. All right, so we're going to go back over to the save game, 12. Oh, right there. We're going to get rid of name. We've already got one. Now, it's going to complain. Oh, wait, that's the only place I'm using it, so we'll save that. Next, I'm also going to remove the application. No, I want the application quitting. Let's comment out this one. So control placing that. So all we're going to validate is that application quitting executes this. We go over here, it executes the quit, which in this case, it announces that it's quitting, which should only get called once. Creates a save game, saves the game. We create the save game here, which we set the name to default, set the credits, set the car position and rotation, and any... Did I fix that by making it worse? I did. I had CUVE last time, and I thought I renamed it to CUBE. BE. I don't need to be able to create this. Inside of here, we have credits, car position, car rotation, cube positions, cube rotation, which is the freight. All right. Now that we've got this stuff, scroll, save. That should save everything. Let's grab a little bit of credit this time and stack one of the cubes. In order to fix itself, it has to update the index of all the rest of the objects in it. I was going to set it up so that that was empty, so that those were going to be null. And then reuse the null places when I needed to generate freight. Okay, so it was a pool, and then I was going to store the index to the next one. I can ignore it for the time being. But so over here, focus. Oh, yes, and it started off with them like right next to me. Excuse me, just want to knock off some freight. There's another one. So there's two freights. Let's also grab this one. Got 100 credits, and I've got two stuck freight at the moment. All right, so now stop. Inside of here, we did get a quit. We got to create save game. Thing reference. The object type of devious vigilante freight has been destroyed, but you are trying to access it. The freight. Freight has been marked as destroyed. Okay, we do need the editor version to take over. So I'm going to get rid of that. Control to you. What? Hey, you. What does KU do? Okay, so KU, Visual Studio, this is one of the hotkeys that it remapped and took over. In Visual Studio, Control KU on comments, Control KC comments align, or whatever your selection is. In Writer, it made a mix. Also put in this bookmark. System on play system state changed. we got the information in here. So on here, we're going to choose whether or not we're editor. So that's it. Right there. That one is my lens. And then for the solution is if def hashtag unity. Doesn't it have the names? Why didn't it come up with Unity Editor? Am I missing something? Does this not work in Rider? Okay. Else. Hashtag Nif. Okay, so if we're in the editor, we're going to change on the play mode state change. Now, the problem is I don't know if that happens before or after. It seems like quit. I was under the assumption that application.quitting gets executed and alerted before all the rest of the game objects start to get destroyed. That's what the documentation seemed to suggest. Let's go there, delete, and this one, delete. Okay, so, but then play mode state changed. I think, what is this one? Exiting play mode. Hopefully that gets executed before. All right, save that, return to Unity. Should already be done for the recompile. When I was sitting there without doing anything. Play. I've got another destruction happening. I have to fix the destroy code. Okay. So right now, let's just stop and see what happens with this. Okay, index out of range. That's what happened with those. The name, it doesn't say the name at all. Here, we're still going to put the name back. Public string and side. So what are they going to do? Change the file name. It does indicate to them that something changed if that does happen. So, my code, I just have to make sure there's a cap. Okay, so that's saved. Now I need to go fix the freight system. So we got the index, and what happens when we call the remove? That's it. The remove gets removed. Oh, this was how I was going to do it. I had to pour I equals, and this is going to be from the upper is going to be what? Freight? Okay, but the lower is not zero. The lower is going to be index. So now what I'm doing with this is when we remove an index, we have to go through the existing freight that's in the system and cancel it out. This is the point where we're removing an item. This is just a shortcut to get it done, and then I don't have to create a memory management system. Uh, so let's go into here and say, which I mean, I guess this is still memory management. So inside of here, freight.count, we go into used, and we're going to say freight system minus. That should fix the freight system for now. Get rid of all these errors that are happening. It's probably terrible right now. I'm amazed if this has been picking me up. Wait a minute, I'm going to test that. I have not had my microphone on since I've started testing. It's actually picking me up a little bit. Wow. Okay. And testing again. Oh, that's probably a heck of a lot better on audio. All right. Now, we've got this data in here. We need to test that we're actually getting the right stuff. There's supposed to be one over that way. Oh, there it is. Oh, no. I want to go that way. Oh, man, this map is getting a lot easier to read. No, didn't I? I thought I just took you out. Go. Did I just do a cartwheel? Come on, right there. Knock. I got one of them off. Yeah, that sounds lovely. I need more freight than this. Where's the rest of the freight? There we go. Okay, there's another one. Let's get one. That's enough. Enter. We'll take that one. Over to here. Okay, so I've got 100, and then that yellow dot right there indicates a piece of freight that's still sitting in the screen, and then that's the truck for it. Let's move over that way. So as I get closer to it, yeah, we can see there it is. I'm right in front of it. Now, let's sit on top of it. That'll work. Enter. Oh, stop the game. Oh, what happened? Okay. Has been destroyed and you're still trying to access it. Why has it been destroyed? First of all, the destruction's over here. This is happening before all the destruction of the objects. Unless freight. I destroyed the freight, but I still held a reference to it. So that is still back over in freight system. So in freight system, we're getting rid of this, but we are not getting rid of the actual freight here. Used equals false. Oh, that's right. Used equals false. We actually are doing what we're supposed to be doing here. But used does handle the removal. So remove handles when objects get destroyed. I didn't want to destroy them. I want this to act like a pool. I don't need IDs. I don't need indexes.
Why did I have the indexes? If I don't use IDs, then I can use an actual pool inside of this. And that would make things a heck of a lot easier. Okay, so over here, freight positions. I can just make a pool of that. I had positions in here so that I could sort through a list of the positions, and I needed to know where they were. But then I also had used in here. So used, we're adding freight. When we add the freight, we get the index. So in this case, the construction of the freight is suggesting that this game, oh, I did originally intend to put a pool here, but I can't because this is not the creator of the freight. The trucks are. The trucks come into the game with the freight already enabled. And then once it gets knocked off of the truck, it becomes an active part of the game. All right. So in that case, I'm using the indexes, so I need to clear out the freight at the same time. Let's put this back. And then also we're going to say freight dot remove hmm, freight index equals zero. Freight index equals null. Okay, so that resets the value to null. That also means that when we go through here, the indexes of everything else is still going to be the same. We just don't hand out new values. Now, objectively speaking, as this goes on, that size is going to increase. So if I just let it create freight and it offsets the indexes, well, every time that they shut down and restart, it'll pick up its memory again. But otherwise, we're just talking about indexes of the objects. And so that's 8 bytes that are effectively being used. And so let's say we even have 1,000, that they've dropped 1,000 freight at various points um, before restarting or shutting down the game. Then that's 8K of memory. That's not a big loss. Okay. Used index is there. So in that case, I can return another index. So we set the freight to null. Let's just check back through this stuff for a second. I shouldn't need to update the indexes. And oh yeah, when a new one is getting added, I can go through and find the latest one. So we're adding new in this one, positions.add index used index of false. It gets the first index of a false one. Okay, so I just need to set the freight to null because we already have the memory management system in here. I forgot I did that. Okay, so now we have, I think that's everything that this one needs, but the use case of this. So we have the freight system. We've set the used, we set the freight, the point where I'm saving. Okay, this one needs to check if it's null. All right, so if freight equals null, because now I am setting freight to null on removal, then continue. We don't save any that are not there. Both of those would get saved together. The pair should still work. That would work. All right, save it, return. I need to have some freight exploded on here, so let's do that. Play. All right, what do we got there? All right, there is freight train to stuff its way back there. Oh, all the freight is like really far back. It's back that way. I am really liking this map. It works. Okay. So I have a little mapping system that the bubbles that are following the car, and the more that I'm using this, the better I'm liking it. Okay, you. Oh, stop. Oh, it's so hard to travel in here. Is that okay? No problem. I might need to step out. Okay. Yeah, I got to call this one early tonight. I will plan on being back online in a little bit to try to finish this up. Uh, Plus, coming back, I will likely get a better truck option, but I need to go take care of something. All right. Talk to you later.